Joining me down the line now, I'm delighted to say, is another good friend of mine, Dickie Arbiter, who is a former press secretary to Her Majesty the Queen. Dickie, great to see you, and thanks for fitting us in this Sunday afternoon. I mean, first and foremost, as a former press secretary, you must, and I'm just holding up one or two of them, as you cast your eye at the Sunday Times, the Observer, the Mail on Sunday, from Paddington Bear and marmalade sandwiches to young princes sticking flags in people's ears. It's been cracking coverage.
It's been absolutely cracking coverage. But to get cracking coverage, you've got to have a cracking ceremony. And it has been cracking every single day. I'll take issue with David about the Thanksgiving service and lack of faith. And that was really left to the Archbishop of York, Stephen Cottrell. He made the point about faith. He made the point about the Queen's faith, being the Supreme Governor of the Church of England. It's her faith that has carried her through the 70 years. And he drew the analogy, Queen's first love is racing, ending with that she is firmly in the saddle. So faith was there, humour was there. But looking back at the rest of the weekend, Trooping the Colour, we see it every year except the past 2 years because of COVID. It was precision at its best. The balcony appearances, I think that's what people were expecting. They didn't get one, they got two. And HM looked as though she was thoroughly enjoying it. First time, seeing her troops march past, taking the salute. The second time, with the family, acknowledging them that they had supported her in the hope that the public would acknowledge them too, that they had supported her as well.
Up on that, I'm not going to, consciously not going to bring David in because he can respond to that a bit later on, but I want to stick with your theme. When you talk about some elements of it being absolutely on the money because that's tradition, like the birthday celebrations, the Trooping the Colour, there is a pattern to that. But her fingerprints were all over certain aspects. For example, standing alone to receive the salute because she couldn't be in Horse Guards with the Duke of Kent. That was her decision, that was her call. And the people who were up on the balcony when the working family came out, handpicked by her, no one else.
Handpicked by her, they are the ones who have supported her. They are the ones who've been working tirelessly throughout her reign. And she made it very clear that it would be only working members. So you didn't have Andrew, who's retired or been fired in disgrace. You didn't have Harry and Meghan because they walked out on the royals. Absolutely right, the Queen's choice. Absolutely right that she was there taking the salute with the Duke of Kent, who is Colonel of the Scots Guards. Because of his age, slight infirmity, he couldn't be there either. So she got it absolutely spot on. She was perfect in that evening in lighting the beacons. Lovely scene from Windsor Castle, how those lights trickled across the lawns of the quadrangle, picked up in the area around the Queen Victoria Memorial and lighting up the tree there. Everything was absolutely perfect. Thanksgiving service, I liked it. I thought it struck the right note. I thought that the concert yesterday was unbelievably brilliant. And what a start. The Queen acting once more. We saw her with James Bond in 2012 at the opening of the Olympics. This far outweighed that. Her scene with Paddington Bear was absolutely perfect. Yes, she had a twinkle in her eye. I've seen that twinkle so many times when she's spoken to me. An occasion, I used to wear very bright ties, and she said to me on one occasion, which was 2 years ago, I suppose it was the last reception at Buckingham Palace, I had a rather quiet tie on that occasion. Well, I didn't actually, and because she commented, she said, I see you're still wearing those dreadful ties. So she didn't particularly care for them, but she had a glint in her eye when she said that. You've got to be able to read her. And we've got the pageant today. There's a lot of expectation that she might appear on the balcony at the end of the day, but that's a decision that would be taken at the last moment. I don't expect it. If it happens, it is a great surprise.
Yeah, final point, Dickie, and it's a quick one, because I remember you and I chatting, way back, around about perhaps the time of the Bond appearance. You said, but she's always been a star of amateur dramatics. She was as a child.
She was as a child. During the war years, she and Princess Margaret and a few of the courtiers, they put on pantomimes at Windsor Castle in the Waterloo Chamber. That was a way of entertaining. That was a way of relieving the boredom. Yes, she's always liked to had a bit of acting. And if you look at the documentary last Sunday of the Queen, her personal footage, there's a lot of play acting there where she's doing a few dance steps with Princess Margaret. Yeah, she's a great character. She's a great actress. And I hope that last time she got a BAFTA, I hope this time she gets an Oscar, a Palme d'Or, a BAFTA, and a Golden Globe, because she deserves it.
We'll vote for that as well. Dickie Arbiter, it's always a pleasure to talk with you, and thanks for finding time, with or without tie. It's a fine shirt, Dickie, and it's great to see you. Thank you very much indeed. Dickie Arbiter, there, former Press Secretary to Her Majesty the Queen.